Hey Baes, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Ofenta and I am your book bae. Your book bae is in the building and I'm definitely showing off my nails, honey. So I hope you guys have all been good. I just had it on my heart actually just to share that, like, just make sure that you're checking in with yourself and you're not being too hard on yourself, because guys, we're just coming out of a Panasonic. In fact, we're very much still in the pandemic, as much as things have started returning back to normal, but we still are in this pandemic. So don't be too hard on yourself for whatever reason. So in this video, this is definitely a review and I'm so excited because I've read this book. I think I finished it in my previous video. I discussed how I had finished it like the week of or whatever. So I just decided that I actually wanted to film a review today. So I will be reviewing Beauty's Gift by Sindiwe Magona. You gotta do it for the thumbnail, honey. This review, it's definitely gonna be a spoiler review. Like, I don't know, like, I'm personally incapable of doing a review without spoilers, but I know there are some booktubers who are like super awesome and super great out there who can do that, but that's just not me. So we'll just talk a little bit about the synopsis of the book. It's basically about a woman, her name is Beauty. It circulates around her dying from AIDS. It was quite sad. I mean, you know, you can't kind of deal with that subject matter, which is so heavy, without it being very heavy itself. So I wouldn't say that I enjoyed the book, but for the most part, it was because I just felt like I couldn't necessarily relate to the subject matter, particularly because of how the book was framed. So the story is told through the eyes of mostly Beauty's best friend, Amanda. And Amanda and Beauty formulate part of a squad called the FFF. I know it stands for something about being five, because there were five of them. The story oscillates between like the before and after of Beauty's death, right? And basically how Beauty contracted HIV was through her husband, who was a philandering fool, and obviously she thought that she was safe in the, you know, sanctity of her marriage, but she clearly wasn't, because he was definitely stepping out on her, and then she contracts AIDS and then she dies. And it's something that he didn't even necessarily want to share with them. Like, it was always like this secret. Like, whenever Beauty would kind of begin to tell like everybody like what is actually wrong with her, apart from the people who were directly taking care of her husband and her mom, he would kind of always interrupt. Closer to the end like of her life, Beauty actually ends up being taken care of by her husband, who initially she was actually being taken care of by her mom, but then her husband steps in, and it's more than anything, the way I view it, just a way to kind of confine it, like his secret, because obviously he's still living with HIV. It was really sad. The one thing that I would say that, yeah, I definitely didn't enjoy the book at all. Like, I don't know. I mean, I got through it because I told myself that I would, and for the most part, I started reading it because it was a book club pick, the book club that I'm a member of. And then I just decided that I just want to finish it. But we actually haven't had the opportunity to discuss it as a book club yet. However, what I will say is I felt like it was, you know, this idea, a lot of it was circulating around issues like in the context of marriage, and as not being, because I'm not a married woman myself, perhaps I wasn't necessarily able to relate, but a lot of it was also this, I don't know, like this thing of how men are given like the leeway to just be whoever they want to be and do the most and cheat and, you know, just not necessarily respect their marriages or their relationships, and then women must just beg Azela and understand and, you know, just like, you know, hold on, be a strong woman. Although what I do like about Amanda, who is Beauty's best friend, who tells the story for the most part, seen through her eyes, she was not necessarily that person. Like, she stood up for herself and she didn't stay with her husband, who had 2 children outside of the marriage with 2 different women. And I respected that, I really did. I don't know, like stories about women, particularly black women, where they're framed to kind of, you know, be encouraged to like stay in these marriages that are not necessarily faithful or what they want, because I know that for a lot of people cheating is not necessarily a deal breaker. I felt like I'm just so tired of hearing stories about men cheating and then the women having to deal with it and navigate that. Like, can we, you know, it's kind of like how I feel about stories about slavery, which is also a major theme in this book that I'm currently reading, Homegoing. I just feel like I'm so tired of hearing stories about black women, okay, but people suffering. I mean, particularly black women though. I think that Can we move beyond just producing stories like that? Now I understand now that that might be what's selling, that might be what publishers are picking up, and there's a whole different dynamic when it comes to that level. But I'm personally so tired of hearing about that. Like, can a black woman bake a cake and be happy and be a baker and just like fall in love and just be happy and just not have to go through being ill or being cheated on or just being super poor or her life like just suffering in some way? I'm so sick of black people particularly, being represented in this role of suffering and what is the word again? Heartbreak, heartache, just heart-wrenching stories about black people suffering. Like, it's enough now, so yeah, I mean, Beauty's Gift. What else is a synopsis? We've spoken about the synopsis, we've spoken about the narration. I would give this book a solid 4 out of 10. It covers an important subject matter, which is I think one of the reasons why I decided to finish the book. But in terms of just the writing style, I wasn't necessarily captured by a lot of the writing, which is sad, because I actually read a short story by the same author and I really enjoyed it. And then when I recognized her name, I was really excited, because I was like, oh, okay, I recognize her from her writing, or I recognize this name. So I was looking forward to it. And then when I read the book, I was just so underwhelmed. But on the cover it says that it was shortlisted for the 2009 Commonwealth Prize, so shout out to her for that achievement. I wouldn't recommend this book, but based on what I've discussed in the subject matter, that's up to you. And yeah, let me know what you think, if you've read it, if you enjoyed the book, if you didn't enjoy the book, yada yada yada, the vibes. And this would be an amazing time to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and just engage with me, guys. Comment down below what you think I should read next, what you think about the book that I'm currently reading. I'm also reading Gabrielle Union's You Got Anything Stronger simultaneously. So yeah, I often find that sometimes I get bored, so I just like having a few or 1 or 2 books that I'm reading at the same time. So if one book is kind of just giving me okay, this is dragging feeling, then I can just switch to the next book. So yeah, bye for now.